Hey guys, it's Pearl
and Serene.
and we are excited because we're talking about a couple of new products that are coming soon, and Cyber is coming up, so it's going to be the perfect time to drop, right?
We want to tell you about a new exciting supplement that we're doing through Trim Healthy, which is our Lean Builder Muscle Support.
Actually, a couple of supplements. They're both in the lean line because that's what they do to you. But let's talk about Lean Builder.
Let me talk about Lean Builder. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Because I'm all about that. Lean Builder was created to help your body build and maintain lean muscle, improve strength, and support your recovery without creating that bulk we don't want or water weight, right?
Yeah, and the key ingredient is RIP factor.
Sounds
and
great.
That's a clinically studied blend of East Indian globe thistle. You might not have heard about it, but we've been studying this for a while, right? And mango tree bark extracts. And human studies, not rat studies here, people, show that it helps burn body fat while improving muscle strength at the same time. That's almost impossible.
And muscle size and your endurance. We also included organic ashwagandha root extract, another research-backed adaptogen known to support muscle performance, lower body fat, we all love that, and reduce stress levels that can sabotage your results.
Okay, when it comes to lean muscle products, you hear a lot about creatine, right? But a lot of people use harsh creatine forms. Well, Lean Builder contains creatine hydrochloride, which is a gentler, more digestible version for women. And this...
Because what are we all worried about? Bloating. I'm always worried about bloating. Is this going to bloat me? Is this going to bloat me?
Yeah.
Not our lean energizer
Yeah.
or a muscle builder.
Creatine is known to bloat some people, but this is a form that doesn't bloat you. So the result is a clean, effective formula that works with your body's natural systems to help you train smarter. You guys, we're all together, right, with training. We're doing our strength training now, and to recover faster and to build strength that you can feel and you can see.
And whether you're lifting weights or whether you just walk or you're just staying active at home, muscle isn't just for athletes, right? It's one of the best ways, as we've been teaching on our podcast and in our new book, to support your metabolism, for bone health and for healthy aging. Lean Builder helps you do all of this safely and naturally.
So Lean Builder, everybody, it is coming, and it is your science-backed, body-kind way to become stronger and leaner for life. But that's not all in this Lean series.
We're thrilled to introduce you to another part of our new Lean line, and that is Lean Energizer. Created to ignite your metabolism naturally and keep your energy steady all day, right? We don't want all those crash and burn. We want the steady energy. Lean Energizer, it's powered by Slender Core, okay? And that is a clinically studied blend of turmeric, curry leaf, and moringa extracts. Not just moringa powder like our greens, but moringa extracts. Very potent.
And research shows, I'm just going to butt in, research shows this combination, so they're synergistic, helps your body burn more calories and improves overall composition. It even encourages, get this, stubborn white fat. That's like adipose tissue, right? To act more like brown fat.
We want the brown fat.
Brown fat is your active kind of fat. You want like
it
fat,
easily
brown
gets turned
fat.
into energy.
Yeah.
Does the brown fat. We also paired Slender Core with metabolism-friendly botanicals like green tea, cinnamon bark, and ginger root, each backed by science to support healthy blood sugar, boost fat conversion, and enhance thermogenesis, your body's natural heat-burning process, which we all want more of.
Yeah. So you'll also, we have packed this, guys. You'll also find grains of paradise extract. Ever heard of that? No? Let's tell you about it. It has been shown in human studies, once again, to help turn stored body fat into energy ready tissue. And so the result is a smooth, steady lift without the jitters, without the crashes or artificial stimulants or medications. You know, if that's not your thing, then this is your thing.
Right. And Lean Energizer, I'm just going to butt in once again. We're both so excited about this. It supports balanced fat loss, steady energy, and healthy metabolism for your real life, whether that means you're having a workout or you're just in a busy family day or just keeping focus throughout your afternoon at the office. It's science and it's nature working together to fire up your metabolism and steady your blood sugar the trim healthy way.
Yeah, so lean energizer, lean builder, they're going to ignite your lean body mass, ignite your burn, and keep your energy clean, steady, and strong.
This is The Party with Serene
And Pearl.
Get it right, Poddy.
Hey, welcome to the Trim Healthy Podcast. And today, Serene and I are geeking out.
Yes,
we are totally in nerd heaven because we have Dr. Athré here with us, and he is all things face, skin, stem cells, fat grafting. We're going to talk about a lot of things today.
I just might as well read his bio. Shall I read his bio?
Can we get Dr. Athré just say a quick hi?
Hello. How you guys doing? It's nice joining you guys from sunny Houston.
Okay, so I'm going to read it out because we're going to sound official here, but Dr. Raghu Athré is Houston's leading surgeon in natural facial rejuvenation. He's an expert in his field, achieving natural results uniquely personalized to each patient. He's double board certified, and Dr. Athré is world-renowned and specializes with fat grafting and facial stem cell therapy and is known to many as the Naturalist.
So, Dr. Athré, thank you so much for joining us. Serene and I have been, telling our audience that we were going to do this with you, and many of our listeners and viewers have been waiting for this because we're going to kind of pick your brain. And full disclosure, we are patients of yours. We came to you and did a full facial rejuvenation, and that was kind of an amazing experience. We talked about it on another podcast, but today we want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, thank you. First of all, thanks for having me. So it's an honor to be on here.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I've got a lot of questions. I know we'll probably be fighting over a lot of things.
Dr. Athré is used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I am sitting here, Dr. Athré, as a 54-year-old woman, and I lay on your table, and you took fat. You did a number of things because we said, hey, we're leaving it up to you. We want your expertise. Whatever you want to do to us, do it just so long as we look like ourselves. Well, you did that. But I have fat from my abdomen and my thighs now in my face. And I would love to know how that is affecting my skin, my collagen, my elastin.
The stem cells as well.
Yeah, I have fat stem cells, and I would love to know what is happening to my skin over the next few years. Okay,
so I'm going to break that question down into a couple of different parts. So let's first go into the why. So why do we do this? Like, why do we take fat and put it in there?
Yeah.
So as we all age, every single one of us, okay, we lose volume. Volume is a very key critical component that we lose. And when I say volume, I mean, people have this idea in their head like, oh, it's this exact little spot here, or it's kind of a diffuse all over the space. And then at the same note, you've got a whole bunch of these proteins and all these things that make up the tissues, including your skin, which is a tissue. And you're starting to lose some of that structural components that hold that skin together. So it's kind of like saying, hey, listen, I've got this house, and over time, I'm pulling a few studs out of the walls, So that's what's happening just as a very natural process. Now, early on in that process, it may be just a little bit of volume loss. And then as that process kind of goes down the road, it becomes a little bit more and more. Well, you've got lots of different options to kind of turn that process back. So as we're thinking about kind of resetting the clock, turning the clock back, resetting the process. So my favorite way of doing this is using a person's own fat. This has been done for a while, and these ideas have been around for a while, but I think in probably the last 10, 15 years is when fat's really taken off as a viable, cool way of setting and resetting the clock. So when I take fat out of your tummy or I take it out of your flanks or anything like that, so there's a bunch of stuff that we're taking out with it. So first we take out this thing, it's called lipoaspirate. So lipoaspirate is the entire stuff that you take out, and we spin off the blood, we spin off the oil component, so we're left with just pure fat. Now within that fat, you've got stem cells, you've got all these different things, and these things are your body's natural systems of helping and healing itself. So if I took a knife and cut your skin, your body knows how to heal it. I mean, it has this knowledge. And so it's got cells in there. And so what we do is we say, okay, cool. Let's go ahead and replenish the volume portion with the fat. And we're using different sizes of fat molecules depending on where we're doing it. So if I'm going against the bone in this cheek region, we're using bigger molecules. And then when we go right underneath the skin, just for some of these fine lines and stuff, we're using smaller molecules. Then in that stuff, we can kind of go down to a next layer, and we've got some stromal cells and stem cells and a bunch of proteins, and all this is the super concentrated jazz that helps your body regenerate and do all these things. So we're injecting that into the tissues, and what that's doing is basically giving all these cells that are in the tissues a little swift kick in the tuchus and going, okay, let's reset the clock back. Let's go grow some new collagen. Let's go grow some new elastin. Let's go do all those kinds of things. And that's what it's doing. So there's kind of it's a two-part thing. You see the visual effect of the fat in the volume, but on the down low, what's happening is those stem cells are working. So for example, the effect that you see today is, yes, you're thrilled and you're happy, but that's a very small percentage of the long-term effect. You're going to get more glowy skin. Your skin's going to be a little softer. It's going to have less, it's going to be more bouncy.
Well, yeah, it already is. Like, it's like, that's what I'm geeking out over, because
and I'm geeking out on the fact that I get to love fat, you know. Today in our culture, everyone despises fat. But we're here to say, hey, fat can be a good thing. I love it.
Fat
but
is a good thing.
Yeah. Fat is a good thing. And, you know, I mean, of course, we help people lose excess fat. That's what we do here at Trim Healthy Mama. But as you said, we all lose fat in our faces, and it's a sign of aging. Now, I wanted the most natural way to fill those areas that I'd lost from aging. But then I found out from you later, because, you know, you've put fat back in. But then I was talking to you the other day, and you're like, no, but your skin, like you're saying, is healthier now. It's going to keep regenerating, right?
And full disclosure, too. You know, I had dabbled around with a little bit of trying to put a little bit of that volume back because, you know, I'd lost a lot of weight by maybe over-exercising. And so I wanted to put a little filling back in there. And I dabbled with some filler, but it wasn't a good experience for me. And like you said, when you put fat back in your face, it's not just for the filling, but it's for all these other wonderful jazz that you said. You know, these stem cells, and you said stromal cells, maybe. I don't have it right. I don't have the doctor language. But that start to rejuvenate your skin from the inside out. I didn't get that with filler. I got that with fat. And I love that.
So I think, okay, so for both of you gals, what if you like it's kind of like that, you know, they used to have those perfumes in the drugstore. If you like Dior, you'll love ... right?
Yeah.
So if you like what you're feeling now, just wait, it gets even better.
Wow.
Right? So the natural time course of putting the stuff in, you see the initial kind of the swelling, then you'll see kind of the softer, then you kind of go through a little down slump because these cells are growing and shrinking. I mean, you don't have control over how each individual cell is growing these proteins and things like that. So it's one of these things which is really cool to me because it gets better with time. And to make a point against what you're saying, Serene, which is really something that I'm noticing more and more of. So I just recently did a patient who she had a facelift somewhere else about 7 or 8 years ago, and she's almost 80. Okay, so she has lost a pretty significant amount of volume. She's a very slim woman, and the surgeon had put cheek implants in to try to really get back the volume. And she had some issues, and we redid her facelift. We took out the implants and we did the whole thing with fat. And so I asked her, how does it feel? Because, she is used to this kind of plump cheek. She goes, I love the feeling because it feels softer. It feels like me. It feels like she used the word again, and people use it over and over, natural. She said, I don't feel stiff and artificial.
I love that. That's why we came to you, because you're the naturalist.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Thank you.
Well, I do want to talk about that because Serene and I, as we are researchers, so when we decided to do this, we researched a lot of doctors, ones who specialize in fat transfer and stem cell transfer. And there are a lot of, like, you hear horror stories, when you
Fat necrosis.
Yeah, fat necrosis, things like that. And then we heard over and over, you will only retain 40 to 50% of your fat. Then we went to your website and we looked into what you do, and you were saying something completely different.
Yes, we'd love to hear why that doesn't happen with you.
Yeah. What is tell us about that.
Okay, so when we use the word fat transfer, okay, I think we need to be very specific. So fat transfer is kind of a catch-all term, and to normal people who are researching, they think that, putting fat in your butt or putting fat in the boob and putting fat in the face are all the same thing because, hey, I'm moving fat from one place to another place. So let's first start off with that number one thing. All fat is not the same, or all fat transfer is not the same. So let's talk specifically about fat transfer to the face. I'm not going to talk about fat to the butt. I'm not going to talk about fat to the boobs. I don't do those things. So let's talk about fat transfer to the face. Okay. So fat transfer itself is a relatively old technique, surgical technique. Okay. We've always, it really got its big boost probably right after World War I. Okay, so there were people trying to rebuild soldiers who had been injured and things like that. And when they needed to add volume, they went and said, oh, you know what? Let's just go get a little dollop of fat from the abdomen. We'll just get a little dollop and stick it in there. Well, yeah, it gave them volume, but then one of the things that would happen over time is that the fat would either die or the fat would become kind of a hard ball. It never looked natural. So this was kind of some of the stuff that people were trying, and you would get a lot of negative mojo when you said fat transfer. Mm-hmm. So you push that envelope till about the 80s and 90s where you now have liposuction. So people go, oh, maybe because now we've got this kind of fat that's kind of almost liquidy, let's try shoving that in the face. And the results were, you couldn't really predict how much fat you were going to get. You couldn't predict what it's going to look like. So again, negative mojo. People go, this stuff is garbage. Now, let's go down into the 2000s. So there's a couple of dudes out in Belgium that have really kind of been like the fat gurus. And they made some very awesome experiments. So the first thing that they did is they started doing the liposuction with really, really tiny cannulas. Okay, so this is what I do. This is the same technique that I'm doing in you. So the cannula itself that we're using to suck the fat out is about 2 millimeters in size.
Wow.
So what happens there is the stuff we're getting, the lipoaspirate, is very small. The molecules itself are super small. And then you're basically putting them through different sieves to get even smaller and smaller and smaller particles. So the stuff you're injecting is very small. It's liquidy. You can put it through a syringe. It's very smooth. So you don't have the issues with the fat necrosis. You don't have issues with the lumpy, the bumpy, the hard granulomas, all that jazz. Using this type of technique, you'll never get that. Now, in terms of longevity, the only way, the experiments that have been done, were experiments that were done where they radio label tagged the fat. So they took the fat, they did a little radio labeling on them, and they injected them in animals. And then they go, okay, look, how long is the fat hanging out? And this fat, about 90+% of that fat hung out at greater than 5 years.
Wow.
Okay. And that was a really important study
Now,
because
those were those two doctors in Belgium, that they were the ones that did the study?
correct.
Okay.
So one of the really cool things that we've learned about this is that study was kind of a landmark study showing that one, the stuff works. Two, it hangs out long term. So if you use the same kind of processing technique, you're going to get those results, which tells you that when you inject the fat, do not overfill. You don't want to do 120% of what the patient needs or 130%, because if you're hanging on to 90% and you overfill, they're going to look like Oompa Loompa long term.
Right.
So this is the kind of, so this is the, all of this stuff kind of really fits together. So this is the big things, what I do differently. There's several other surgeons that kind of do it the same way. And what we're noticing is these patients are holding on to this, one. But the sidebar on that is, I can't stop you from aging.
Right.
So, 7, 8, 9 years down the road, you may show up to me and say, oh my God, my fat's all gone. It's all gone. It went away. And I'm going to go, listen, the fat that I put in is probably still there.
Oh.
What happened is you probably continued losing some volume, which we need to go and refill the tank a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, how many facial surgeons, because that's what you are doing it? Because I went to a lot of websites and, it said you probably lose 50%. Are they doing it like you, or most not doing it like you?
Most people, if I just go run of the mill, most people out there who are doing fat transfer are not doing this technique.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So there are probably, I would say probably 4 or 5% of the total number of dudes who are doing fat transfer as that overall category are using this technique.
It's so funny that you call doctors dudes.
No, but I love it. But
Sorry, I'm
what
not
I've
watching
noticed
what I
too,
said.
No, I love it. It's because you're quirky, and that's why we related to you.
yeah, we were like, this is our guy. We have to go to this doctor because your personality is awesome. You make us feel so relaxed. But what you said too is you get the really fine fat and you inject it maybe under the eyes, and it kind of helps with the wrinkles or maybe the little crepey skin. But that's what I love, because I needed fullness back here under my eyes, but it did more than just add fullness. Like, the wrinkles have gone, and I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't even looking for that, but that was just a side plus icing on the cake. I really noticed that, though.
It's when I really wanted to almost get T-shirts printed that say "I love fat."
Yes,
because
I'll wear it.
What I'm recognizing is, it's so useful and it's so versatile, And if I may, I'd like to talk about Pearl for just a second. And because this is something which I am noticing more and more of, okay? So what I see is, for example, when we look at somebody's face, and I'm, as time goes on, I'm analyzing people's faces more and more and more and more, down to the every little micro movement, right? So as we lose volume, what happens is if you cut a chicken, okay, and you're preparing chicken, you cut a chicken, there's the skin of the chicken, there's the little fat on the underside of the skin, and then there's muscle underneath it. Well, your body is kind of made the same way. So for example, in this area right here, and I'm the chin, okay? So when we lose that little fat cushion between the skin and the underlying muscle, you'll see these weird motions with the underlying muscle, because the muscle is not supposed to be touching right against the skin. So you'll see kind of this kind of almost hyper contraction of this muscle that pulls that chin up a little bit. And then you go in there and put this thin layer of fat between the skin and the muscle, giving it back that cushion. And lo and behold, the chin just goes back to where it's supposed to be. It's like the muscle knows, I want to be here. And now when things are weird and things are not where they're supposed to be, it acts weird because of that loss of that cushion layer, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah. And I noticed physical differences. I came back to you a week later and it's what is happening? I've been in pain in my shoulders, and you described that, you know, everything kind of like interrelates. The chin interrelates to the neck bands, interrelates to the shoulders. And I was experiencing a lot of pain, which diminished so significantly after you put fat in my chin. I mean, it's crazy.
Right. I'm not taking credit because
I know.
for that, but your story is not unique.
Yeah.
Right. Because I think what happens is that when these tissues, as we age and all these things, they kind of fall or they've lost volume, they're in different places than they used to be. It causes stress and strain on all the other muscles that are interconnected. So when you just kind of like, I like that word, the naturalist, you put things back to where their natural position's supposed to be, and lo and behold, voila, people's problems seem to go away.
Well, speaking about natural and then speaking about kind of natural on steroids, the other reason that we sought you out was you are into the body healing itself, but doing it even more quickly, recovery. So I want to talk about recovery, and this kind of spreads out into even more than, hey.
And the fact that we, you know, had our procedure done with Dr. Athré under local, which we
yeah,
cared
but we'll
about.
talk about that later.
Right, but we just felt like it wasn't going to, you know, our recovery would be easier. It would be less groggy, it would be clearer headed, could get back to work quicker.
But I want to talk about some of the things that you utilize because, you know, our audience, maybe some of them aren't as interested in what we did, but they are interested in recovery. And you've become quite, I don't know, very out there in this. You're leading the way in making recovery time faster. We were in a hyperbaric chamber in your clinic
Correct.
several days. And can we talk about hyperbaric chamber? I mean, for what it does for skin recovery, what it does for the body, but
you were in a bad mood before you went into your first hyperbaric chamber. I don't know, it was just like you were tired, you couldn't sleep the night before. And when you came out of the hyperbaric chamber, I really liked you.
Yeah, well, it was my first time in one, and it was night and day for me the way I felt. So why do you have a hyperbaric chamber, and why do you use it?
So, first of all, okay, it's healing and recovery, I think, are just as important as doing amazing surgery. So you can be this really awesome surgeon. You're rocking it. You're coming up with innovative techniques. You're on top of your game. However, what the patient really, they don't see just the result. For them, it's a journey. It's an experience. Okay. Today's patient is very, very different than the patient that my fellowship director operated on 30 years ago. Okay. Those patients 30 years ago were okay with, oh yeah, I had a facelift. I'm going to hang out a couple nights in a hospital. And then, you know, I have about 6 weeks to heal, and I'm just going to stay in my house for 4 to 6 weeks. And then I'll go see somebody, you know, outside. Today's woman doesn't have that time, right? Like, look at you guys. You guys, you know, threw this kind of little grenade bomb at me and said, yo, I want this, but I've got a podcast where I'm going to be videotaped in less than 2 weeks after surgery, so make it happen. And you're not unique in this. This is a common thing. So you go, okay, so I need to do really cool surgery, really awesome. But the goal is getting amazing results and getting amazing results in the shortest period of time. So as we've kind of processed this, we've jumped onto a lot of different things to enhance that healing process. The IV therapy with like vitamins and all this kind of stuff. High intensity LED therapy to reduce bruising and swelling.
Yes.
Then hyperbaric was the next little thing. So hyperbaric's been around for a long time. So hyperbaric was really used to heal people with chronic wounds, like diabetics that have a huge wound on their foot or something like that that's not healing. You would go put them in the hyperbaric chamber. So voila, people go, well, if it works for that, it should work for plastic surgery. So there was the first really objective study on this for facelift patients was done actually in Saudi Arabia. They had 15 or 16 patients. Some of them got hyperbaric oxygen. The other people got nothing. And they showed that the people getting hyperbaric oxygen were healing about 50% faster than the other people. So I went bing, 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 bing. This is something I need to do. And all of these little things have really paid dividends. For example, if you two gals saw me 20 years ago, okay, and I did surgery on you 20 years ago, you would probably be bruised and swollen for about maybe 14 or 15 days at that point, okay? And you gals left my office day 8, okay, and you were able to look very normal on an airplane, okay? And so my next goal is I really want to push that envelope from that 15 days to 8 days to next. I'm hoping to get into the 4 to 5 day range or
Wow.
3 day range. So
Yeah.
like you could have surgery on a Thursday and hopefully by Monday you can wear makeup and look, pretty
You know, I
awesome.
love it, but I
That's my
do
next
have to
goal.
say, and I've watched many other patients because, there's many things, people listening could do. Maybe they just want some fat grafting, or maybe they come to you like Serena and I did and said, hey, we'd like to reverse more signs of aging. I had some, jowls here from menopause and you took care of them. I just love it. But I came away, yes, I did get swelling on day 2, 3.
We had no bruising.
No,
We
but
didn't
that's
have
what
bruising,
I want to
did we?
say. I did not have one bruise. I mean, I know we're all different, but no bruise.
And we're on some support groups.
So, pardon?
We're on some support groups for people
Yeah.
doing similar procedures, and the bruising is
So
unbelievable.
there's a couple of things on this. So I think that the bruising, so the post-op recovery protocol really helps with that, but I think there's a lot of things happening in the operating room that really affect the bruising. So first of all, both you two gals are super crazy healthy. Okay, that really helps. Let's start the ball right there. Okay, when I get healthy patients who really kind of say, hey, listen, I'll do everything you tell me to. I'll prep myself. I'll do all these types of various things. That helps the process from the get-go. Then you kind of come down, and in the operating room, both of you elected to do local anesthesia, as you alluded to. I think that one decision makes the biggest impact in the bruising and swelling portion.
Really?
Wow.
I do. That's my opinion. That's what I see in my hands. So don't this is not like fake news and someone throwing something at me, but in my hands and in my opinion, the patients that I see that I do under general versus the patients that I do under local, the local patients are able to get up and at them quicker. They're ambulating quicker. They have less bruising, less swelling. They're able to just get back a lot quicker. And my opinion is, this is why I think this happens, is that I really think this is a function of when you do general anesthesia, the medicines that you get, they make blood vessels open up. That's just the secondary side effect. And I think that increases the bruising. And then to top that off, that little bit of brain fog and people are kind of feeling loopy for about a day or so doesn't allow them to get up and at them and kind of ambulate. Like both of you walked out of surgery and you guys walked right back in on post-op day 1. That ability to do that, I think, allows people to heal quicker.
Can I talk a little bit about the local anesthesia too? I know probably people like me having them under local may be a little bit too difficult because I was talking to you the whole time and you're probably like, shut up so I can work on your face. But
He did tell you to shut up. He did.
You're like, just stop now. But maybe you did tell us, okay, move this way, move that way, open your eyes, shut your eyes. So is that ability to kind of help you out, does that help as well?
I do. I like it. Okay, and I'm unique in this. I mean, I think 99.9999999% of surgeons think I'm absolutely crazy for doing this type of surgery under local anesthesia. I've just done so much of it. I get very used to it, and I like it because I get that feedback back where I can see what it looks like. I can see how things look dynamically right then and there. So it really helps me. Like, for example, I did a lady last week under general anesthesia, and because she wanted it under local, I thought her medical problems and stuff, she would be better under general. I felt more secure under general, so I told her that's how we're going to do it. And to me, that's harder for me at this point. Like I sit there and I'm like, oh, I got to do this under general, but I'll do it. But I prefer the local.
It was a fun experience too because you're playing music the whole time. I mean, you're from India, right? And you're
Yeah.
playing your Indian music. It was so fun, and you and your team are joking around, and it was actually kind of a crazy fun experience. That sounds so weird, like you're opening our face and doing things, but it was crazy fun.
No, literally, maybe I was a little bit loopy on some of that, local sedation, but I came home to Pearl and said, it was one of the best days of my life. It was just so incredible. But it was just
we are weird though.
But my eyes were opened up to a whole new world of skill though. Like I was just so impressed, like with you, Dr. Athré. I'm like, oh my goodness, like what he is doing and just the skill you had in your hands. And I was just aware. I was just kind of aware of that. And I'm like, wow, I just liked my eyes being open.
But didn't you say to us though that local, like with fat, it's not like a new thing. Yes, kind of like more naturalist doctors are doing it now because some of us holistic people don't want to go under general if we can help it. But you said general kind of took over, but local was the way many times it was done. Am I right or wrong?
You're absolutely right. So the local, I like to describe local anesthesia for doing facelift surgery kind of like a dead language. Okay. So if either of you had surgery in the 60s, hypothetically a facelift in the 60s, okay, you would be having local anesthesia. That's how it was done. It was at that point much safer doing it under local than it was under general anesthesia. Then as the technology for general anesthesia came, better and better and better, then probably starting the mid 80s, there was a huge kind of push towards the general anesthesia front because general anesthetic techniques got better, the medicines got better, the complications with general anesthesia went down. So there was a kind of a transition shift towards general anesthesia. So much so that most anesthesiologists don't know how to do the blocks anymore that we do for local anesthesia. And most surgeons have never done a facelift under local anesthesia, and they only know how to do it under general. So, I was lucky enough, the guy that trained me is ancient. He's 87. He's like a second dad to me, but I got this experience to be able to learn this and basically have used that knowledge, and I've pushed the envelope. Mm-hmm. So like he's actually come down and seen me operate, and he goes, I can't believe that you actually do this amount of surgery. Like this is way more than I've ever done under local anesthesia. Mm-hmm. Because once you kind of understand how people work, where they're going to feel pain, how you've done so many of it that you can kind of predict. Like if you guys, I don't know if you have recollection of this, when I was numbing you up, I'm going to go, this one's going to be a bit spicy right here. Can you give me a big break, big deep breath right now? And you're like, okay, that's not too bad. I was like, okay, cool. Awesome. We're going to go a little bit further and then go, okay, we're getting close to this another big nerve here. This might be a little bit spicy. So you've done so many, I can predict where people are going to have issues. So you kind of go, you dance all around and then you come back to the area and you're like, okay, cool. She's completely numb.
Well, speaking of dancing though, you know, there's an elephant in the room.
Yeah, I was about to talk
You
about
keep saying the word facelift. And to me, even a year ago, I would have almost a heart attack at that term. I hated the word facelift.
Because it has a stigma to it.
Yeah, and I'm sure people listening right now, I mean, you are a double board certified plastic surgeon, right? So you say the word facelift. But people think this wind blowing,
Or, do you know what I think they think too? And I could be wrong, but you'll know if I'm wrong.
That's what I thought.
I think a lot of the distorted went wrong in Hollywood kind of looks they put out on social media to kind of give everybody a scare, they're distorted with filler. It's actually not facelift. What do you think? Like that very almost it's not even normal avatar kind of.
I'm going to address both of your I think both of you have a question and a comment.
It's what we do.
Yeah, it's cool. It's awesome. I just have to make little notes here so that I remember to. The way I look at what I do, okay, you're right. So what we do is we do rejuvenation, right? So this is what I do is I do facial rejuvenation, whatever that box may include. Okay. So for example, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm BSing. We did all these consultations, we talked, we did all this stuff. You came here and we had this pre-op and I'm making you sign your consent forms and I tell you, listen, Pearl, if you trust me enough to select me to do what you need to do, you're basically giving me carte blanche to do what I need to do to achieve the result. And the result is make Pearl look the best that Pearl can be. Turn the clock back and just give me that natural look. Whatever those procedures are called or dictated or whatever, like I have my scientific mumbo schmumbo when I dictate your case, but as long as I've explained, risks and how we do it and what we do and all these things, you're just saying, hey, I'm in your hands, do what I need to do. And this is how I see all my patients. So we have patients that come in and they ask me, Dr. Athré, I want a deep plane facelift. And I'm like, okay, how do you know you need a deep plane facelift? Oh, it's the best type of facelift. The internet says so. Okay, cool, awesome, great. And I look at them and go, I don't think you need that. I think you just need some volume replenishment, maybe a little bit of a chemical peel, and I think you're going to be good. Okay. And then so I see this as everything is a kind of a spectrum and it's kind of a moving target. So when patients like both of you are good examples, when you guys came in or we had a consultation, I said, you have a magic wand. What bothers you?
Yeah,
right?
remember that.
So when we just go, okay, look, this bothers me here, this thing kind of bothers me here, and I just want to look, like both without even cueing you, all of my patients say the same thing. I have all this energy. I do all these things, right? I mean, I'm getting up, I'm taking care of kids, I'm taking care of grandkids, I'm working, I'm doing all of these things. And then I look in the mirror and I go, that energy that I feel deep down inside and what I see in the mirror, there's a disconnect. And I'm not asking to look 21.
No.
I just want that disconnect to not be there. I want my outside to match what I feel on the inside. And so my job is to take that sentiment and then go, how do I translate that into a list of things or what I would do to give this woman this? Does that make sense?
Yes.
No, it does. And I remember we came to you, we'd done some consults on the Zoom and you asked us that question, well, what bothers you? Why are you here, right? And we told you, I had my jawline bothered me. I'm healthy. I'm eating healthy food. I'm exercising. I'm using wonderful healthy creams. My skin was in good condition. But you can't stop some aging and menopausal aging, and it was like there and it bothered me. But then you heard me out and then you did this weird thing and you just looked, it was so weird, you stared at me.
I'm freaky weird like that.
Oh,
That's
you
just,
stared at me for like 5 minutes
out there.
and I was like, I was about to talk, you're like, and you kept looking at my face. He did the same thing to you, Athré, and it was like you were analyzing. I don't know, but I was a unique creature in your hands. Like you weren't just gonna do this.
This is what I do
This is
every
what I
time.
do.
Yeah.
No, I was like, I felt, even though it was weird, I felt really seen.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I mean, so there's some parts of me, I mean, I'm able to talk here very, openly and all this stuff, but then there's these certain points in this process where, like, for example, when I'm staring at you, I know it's the weirdest thing that I do. And everybody has commented on it. Barb has sometimes told me, like, yo, you need to tone that down because that's so weird. Okay, but I can't do it any other way. It's I'm just kind of blocking everything out. Okay, and I want to see how your face works. I want to see how it moves. I want to see your skin. I want to see the little lines. I want to see the expression lines. I want to see how that little chin thingy moves and why does it move that way. Because I'm in my head, I'm trying to envision Pearl, the best version of her, and then go, okay, that's what I see in my head. This is where I am now. Okay, what do I got to do to get there?
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I think I was terrified, as many women are, of coming back altered. My husband, he said, Pearl, I my husband, he before I did this, he thought I was beautiful. He because I'm his wife. He loves me and he thinks I'm beautiful now, but he doesn't say to me, "Oh, you're far more beautiful now." He doesn't think that. He does say, "Hey, you look younger, you look lovely, but you're still my pearl." But he didn't want me coming back. He said, "Please do not come back. I don't want huge lips. I don't want you looking like this." He's like, "Please come back looking like Pearl." And the first thing he said to me when he saw a picture of me that I sent him was, he's like, "Oh, you're still Pearl," and he was so relieved. He was so relieved.
I'm going to tell you the funniest thing I have ever heard. So almost every husband has the same emotion.
Yeah.
The kind of the stuff. And one of the funniest things one of my patients' husbands told me, he came for one of the follow-ups and he goes, "Doc, I don't know what you did, but I feel like I'm cheating on my wife with my wife." Okay. And I was like, I hear you. And that is, I mean, it's actually a compliment,
Yeah.
That's so funny. So can I just, in answer to my question about, a lot of people see these crazy things on Facebook and it's very distorted and they're like, that's a facelift, so never have a facelift. We like to call it facial rejuvenation because of the stigma of the wind tunnel, which is not the way you do it at all. But what do you think about the filler morphing into, they fill it again and again and again?
So I think there's bunches of things that we can talk about on this. So first of all, I think there's a big question in people's heads about, first of all, celebrities, right? So when we see celebrities, we assume automatically that, oh my God, they have access to the finest resources, the finest of everything. Why are they looking like this? Like, that's a question. Okay. And my first thing I'm going to address with that is, I myself don't know. I don't know how they get to that point, but I think we need to treat celebrities just like every other human being on the planet. So, for example, if you guys came to me tomorrow, just a few weeks out, and said, "Hey, I want to do blah, blah, blah," I know what my response is going to be. No. Okay. And I don't have a problem saying that to you, and I told you guys as you were leaving, hey, if you're ever like, you tried something on your face, and I was like, listen, before you touch my face,
Yeah, vitamin
okay,
C
'cause that's
serum.
my face now, don't do it until you ask me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because the reason is that, again, I'm a minimalist. It sounds crazy and schizophrenic to say I'm a minimalist, but I like the simple, natural, blah, 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 which I think sometimes some of these celebrities get carried away and they push that envelope too far and then they look weird.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's always somebody who's willing to take their money and do it. Okay.
Yeah,
And doesn't
right.
have the capacity to say, no, I am not doing that.
Yeah, I asked you once, I said, do you turn people down that come to you and you're like, yeah, all the time? And I said, what was one of the things? And you said, asking to look like any celebrity, showing me any picture of a celebrity is a no.
Yeah. Because I want to make you look like you,
Yeah.
not like somebody else. So that's one. Two, I'm gonna backtrack. I'm gonna agree that my aesthetic and what I think is beautiful may be different from what my patient thinks is beautiful. Okay, we have to agree that different people have different ideas of beauty. Some people like bigger lips, and I may be like, I don't know about that. Okay, and some people are like, hey, I want to be more natural. I get it. Okay, now first of all, if that little question shows up, where there's a patient and my version of beauty and her version of beauty are off, I'm going to go, yo, this is what I see. This is what I think. These are my questions. These are my fears. Talk to me and explain to me. And if I find her reasonable and what she wants is reasonable, cool. Okay, I have to accept that maybe she thinks something else is more pretty. I'm down with it. But what happens to a lot of these people is there's these fads, right?
Yeah.
And the fad is like it's like the Death Star of plastic surgery. So somebody goes in there and gets this up here, and everyone, it's kind of like the emperor's new clothes. Everyone goes, ooh, that's nice. Afraid to say that, whoa, that's weird. And then we have a whole bunch of people walking around, with this thing that looks like a ping pong ball that's shoved up underneath their cheek, and it's just and so what I've learned, it's kind of like now the whole the Brazilian butt lift fad, right? Everybody wants to go on there and they need to be, and there's some people take it to the point where they need to have a 2x4 that they can put there and it like sits like a table,
Yeah,
which we can laugh, but
it's
that this
true.
really exists.
Yeah.
So, my opinion on this is I like a very holistic view of beauty that's going to withstand time. Like, can I share a
Yes.
picture on here?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna,
sure.
yeah, I'm gonna share. I'm gonna try to share my screen
You
here.
can do no makeup ugly ones of us.
I'm gonna share Pearl. I got Serene too, so we can pick whoever we want to share.
All right, share me. Oh, look at me. That was me 1 week later. Was it 8 days? Wow, I've never. Oh,
Yeah.
look,
Okay. So this is
that's such a sad me with no makeup when I came in that
okay.
morning.
Now this is day one.
Wow, look at.
Okay. Day three.
Okay,
Okay.
look at
Day
me.
five.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm happy with.
Day seven. Day nine.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Okay. Now
Wow.
this is day one to day nine. Now take a look. I don't know if you guys can see my laser
Look
pointer
at
here.
that wrinkling of the neck though.
Yes,
That is just
yes,
me being 54 when you put your face down, your screen catches you, you're
Yeah.
scared
yes.
of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The lighting's
Now,
not
but
doing
when
any
you
favors
take
on
a
those
look at
lightings.
this woman right here,
Yeah.
when you take a look at this, this idea of beauty is going to be in for the next 100 years. All we've done is we've just said, okay, let's make her eyes look more open. Let's put her cheeks back to where it's supposed to be. Let's give her a nice jawline. Let's give her a beautiful neckline. We haven't we haven't done anything to change and go with a fad. We didn't say, "Oh, let's give her like freaking honking lips. Let's give her a little, chin in there." We said, "Let's just take her and turn the clock back." That's it. And that idea of beauty is going to be in whether it was the year 1200, the year 2200, or the year 3200. So, I'm I've learned in my way of doing things to just be chill, don't jump on fads, and we all know what beauty is, and we just need to respect it.
Well, can I talk about beauty for a second? Because when we are, like, we are health and wellness. I don't know what you want to call us, leaders in female circles, and the fact that we did this, we went to actually a surgeon beyond cream, that we did something beyond creams. It caused a bit of a riot, a raucous, and people said, why can't you just age naturally, age gracefully? Now, to me, I think we all just have different opinions of what aging gracefully is. I look, at my mum. She's never done a thing. She's so beautiful. This was my choice because I found someone like you who takes something from, my own body and puts it back in. And I felt like that was natural. But I don't look around this world and think every woman should do that. We just want to pass along what we've done. But what do you think about that? I mean, I guess I'm asking your opinion on just
I get this.
beauty
I get this
itself.
all the time.
Yeah.
So here's my take on it. Okay. So we have to break this down to several categories. There's going to probably be a person who says, absolutely no, this, you just need to accept that which is, and fine. I'm not there to change that person's mind. They're entitled to their opinion and how they want to live their life. Okay. My opinion, okay, is that all of us, we all try to achieve the best version of ourselves. Okay. I myself, there was a point in my early 30s, I looked at the mirror and go, wow, I look old. And because I had premature hair loss and I'd
Okay.
lost pretty much all my hair from here to here.
Oh,
Okay. Every member of my family has
okay.
a pretty significant hair recession, and I didn't like it. So it's not that something that I said, oh my God, that's horrible. No, I dealt with it, and I said at a certain point, if there's something I can do about it, it's safe. It's not like, I'm taking a 30% mortality risk, okay, or something to that effect. I'm going to do something in order to make me feel better about me. Okay. Similarly, when I
Did you
got
get a hair
ready,
transplant then?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I got a hair transplant.
That's great.
Okay. And so it was part, and it really let me understand what my patients feel. Okay. So I think that there's a large category of patients that they want to put their best foot forward. And that doesn't mean that if you're not doing it, you're not. It's just
Right.
how we all view ourselves. And so my gestalt on this is if we can do it safely, if we can do something naturally, if we can do it and restore, why not? Okay? Because, for example, my grandfather had his first heart attack at the age of 45. Okay? I'm older than my grandfather was when he had his
Wow.
first heart attack. Now, what's happened in the time since is we now understand genetics. We understand how heart disease works. We understand cholesterol. We understand blood pressure. We understand all these things. And I'm making all of these modifications in my life so that I can take all of these advances in modern healthcare so that I'm going to make it to 90 or
Right.
100.
And that's
Yeah.
You know,
another reason
so
we went to you. You mean you care about what women put into their bodies. You care about eating. You don't touch sugar. You work out all these things you do top down. So you
yeah,
practice what you preach. You know. Yes.
absolutely.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I make our house an organic house,
Yeah.
because I try not to have any, or I mean, and it's hard having a teenager at home and
Yeah.
saying there's no artificial red dye number 40.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big deal, but
Yeah.
I think it's part of trying to put in every aspect the best part of us out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're just like super appreciate taking your time because we just know how busy you are, and we just we know many of our women were kind of waiting to just hear your take on this and this
Oh, but
choice we made.
you-
You still got questions?
Yeah, I still got questions.
What time are we, JD?
Oh, I have a question about.
We're what? Sorry. 54 minutes. Okay, you got 6 minutes, girl.
Okay, 6 minutes. I have a question just for some people listening who, may not be interested in fat grafting or to take it to the next step, take the
Yeah.
red Ferrari option. Dr. Athré, we put our faces in his hands and said, here they are, you just give us a natural approach. But what about if they just think, what are steps, micro habits that I can do every day for my skin? As a facial surgeon, all about skin, you touch people's skin every day. What are some tips they can be doing now? Some practical things.
Okay. First, foremost, absolutely hands down, number one, sun protection. Okay. You've got to protect your skin from the sun. Okay.
You saw so much damage on my skin, and I'm not even a layer outer in the sun ever. And you were like,
Right.
there's so much sun damage.
We have started sunscreening daily since we visited you.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is hands down number one. Both of you guys are moms, okay? So the one thing that people may not know is that your lifetime risk of melanoma, which is the bad type of skin cancer, is directly proportional to the number of bad sunburns before the age of 12.
Yeah.
Wow.
So note to all of your viewers out there, your moms, your dads, or whatever, please, you think about making yourself look pretty, coat your kids up. Get them in the habit of coating their skin up. They don't like it. It gets in their eyes and ... all that jazz. But this is just one of those lifetime things. They'll thank you for it when they're 30 and 40 and 50 and they have beautiful skin.
And we can do
So that's
natural,
number
right?
one.
Zinc
Yeah.
oxide and
Zinc
things like
oxide,
that.
titanium oxide, both
Yeah.
of those. Number two, so if you want to take the next step up from there, a good skincare regimen. And when I say a good skincare regimen, I'm going to say basically, I think everybody needs to be, if you're past about 35, 40, and you can even start in your late 20s, a retinoid, either retinol or retin A, probably a couple times a week. Really, that's kind of the chemical version of really making those cells make collagen and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, having said that, we'd tried retinol in our younger years and always got the real we got
Itchy and the
yeah,
flaky.
side attack. And then we researched, we got put off about it. We saw some studies, but now we've kind of opened our minds to it again. And since talking to you and since really going deeper, so we're kind of changing our minds about that whole retinol, tretinoil thing at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you kind of have to get used to. It's kind of like drinking coffee. You give coffee to a kid and they're like, this is disgusting, and
Yeah.
eventually you just like coffee.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things you have to get a little used to. So sun protection, retinoid. I think also moisturization, very, very important. Keeping a nice, healthy moisture on your skin. These are some real easy things that people can do in terms of minimization of problems, prevention, and trying to minimize photo aging and aging in their skin. The other thing your skin is the largest organ on your body.
Yeah.
Okay. It is a direct representation of what you put in. So healthy diet,
Yeah.
okay, which goes right along with what you guys expound to the world, right? So keeping that diet healthy in terms of, balancing carbs and proteins, minimizing sugar. You need a little bit of fat, some healthy fats in there, not going overboard on anything. All of these types of things definitely kind of play a role.
Do you see, can I ask you something? Because I've read this in research articles, but I've never asked you this. Do you see people come in who may have in their blood work high blood sugar, maybe type 2 diabetes, prediabetes? Do you see impacts on the skin direct?
Absolutely.
You do?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
So, back in the, not stone ages, but, old ages of medicine, before there was the capacity to just basically draw blood on everybody or a CT scan, most diagnoses were based on these things, like skin characteristics.
Huh.
So, if you had basically, like, there's a condition called acanthosis nigricans, where if you saw the hyperpigmentation on the back of the neck or in the folds of the neck, clear indication type 2 diabetes or some sort of sugar intolerance. So there's a lot of physical manifestations of diabetes.
And you, sorry. No,
Go ahead.
you keep going. Yeah.
Okay. And if you want to step up the ladder on, hey, I don't want to, do like a fat transfer or anything, but I still want to do something. I think the next little logical box in there, the first procedural box, I'm going to say is some sort of skin resurfacing. Whether that is like a little baby chemical peel, whether it's some microneedling. I mean, there's a lot that's in that box, but I think a lot of a lot of stuff can really be addressed with skin resurfacing. And one caveat that I'm really going to throw out there to your listening audience, if you're interested in experimenting in this box, please, please, please go to a doctor, a surgeon, or a dermatologist who's really experienced in doing chemical peels and such. The rationale for that is, if you're really just baby footing into that swimming pool, you really want someone who's going to analyze your skin, be able to give you the results that you want, and minimize the complications. Because once you get in the box of the complications, it's kind of like burning yourself on the stove, and it's kind of a harder pill to.
Well, you did a peel on both of us.
I did.
And I have to say that's one of my favorite parts. So if I don't know what happened, if it's the fat you put in or the peel or the combination, but my skin has never felt this good, looked this good. And I'm talking because I was one of those children running around in the Australian, New Zealand sun, getting freckles and sunburn and all of that, and going to the beach and just laying out, not doing sunscreen. But so I've never had
Baby skin. Neither have I.
This is my first
Feels
time.
good.
Thank you,
Doesn't it
Dr.
feel
Athré.
good?
Oh my goodness, it feels amazing. And
like, so my patients, when they come in and I kind of do this, and I'm like, I'm just petting it because it feels good,
so soft, so soft.
Hey, can I ask you quickly a question too? Because part of our recovery was going under the lights, the wonderful LED infrared, red light therapy, and I think there was some other hues in there that were very healing. But what do you think about people doing daily red light therapy? Like they have the masks that you can buy off the internet. Do you think that's a good approach?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one of those things, scientifically, it's been shown to help. Okay. I can tell you anecdotally in my office, I mean, I know the intensity of what we use is much higher than what's available on Amazon, for example. It works.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't see downsides to it. I think it really is something that you can try, see how your skin reacts to it. It's very safe, especially at the strengths that you're ordering on Amazon.
Well, we went under your special recovery light. There was one before we got on your table and one after. Now, this after one, it made me feel so good. Not just in my skin, but my whole body felt good. Like, I don't know, what's going on with that light that you lay everyone under?
So the science of it is that what you're doing is you're using different wavelengths, and that wavelength is really targeted to helping the little myoepithelial cells contract and remove the edema from your skin. So it's
Oh.
reducing bruising and swelling.
That's
So
why we
that
stopped swelling so quickly
Yes.
then. Yeah.
so that's the science in the recovery protocol that you say, I feel so good. But a lot of patients are giving me, when I get the feedback back, they're giving me feedback which is way more than just, hey, I'm having less swelling. They're saying, hey, I feel less tight. Like,
Yeah.
for example, post-op day 1, when you came in, you were like, oh my God, I have so much pain in my gland removal area and I'm very tight and all this stuff. And then we put you under the light and you're like, wow, I feel better. And do I have an exact scientific idea like what happened from 1 to 2 to 3? No, but it's working really well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's great.
It's been such an honor to have you here, Dr. Athré, and to pick your brain. We love picking your brain.
Yeah. And
Well,
thanks for being
the
open.
honor's all mine.
Yeah, thanks for being open to us. You know, you didn't know who we were when we came, and we came to you because we kind of resonated with your personality on all your videos and with what you're doing there. And then we just felt like we suddenly became family with you and your whole team.
Yes,
So-
I just remember that. I
thank you.
think it was like after surgery, and it was many, many hours. Grueling mental for you. And I remember you doing a little jig in the room. And I'm like, this is why I chose him as my doctor. He's just his personality is so great.
You're trying to be very polite and say out loud, this guy is stark raving great. But that's cool. I'm okay
We
with
are
that.
too.
Yeah, we kind of got that part of it and connected with it. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.